Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Today we are going to be taking a look at Grand Moff Tarkin. I'm going to be building a Tarkin fleet, and I want to put him on board his own Star Destroyer, the Sovereign, and I'm going to do that in Ryan Kingston's fleet builder for a Star Wars Armada fleet. If you guys are new here to the channel, don't forget to enter to win that $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment and on this or one of my videos. That'll enter you to win. And be sure to check the links in the description below. I'd love to hear some of your fleet ideas. You can let me know in a comment. Also, don't forget to leave fleets and talk discussions like that in the Discord as well. But yeah, and I'll put a link to Ryan Kingston's fleet builder down in the video description. So Grand Moff Tarkin got a points reduction. He's only 28 points now, but he still is just as great as ever. At the start of each ship phase, you may choose a command. Each friendly ship gains a command token matching that command. So he gives everybody a command token. He tends to favor fleets that have more ships, usually with higher command values. So you don't usually want him on a on an Imperial Raider, for example. But it doesn't matter where he is; the whole fleet's going to get it. So I'm going to put him on board a Simoon, and this was something I've been toying around with lately, and I kind of like the idea of the Tarkin on board a Simoon. Now, while a Simoon isn't particularly defensive, the idea is the ship will be kind of spread out, or the fleet will be spread out a little bit, and I want to try to lure an enemy fleet to attack this guy while my other ships kind of come around from the sides. And I'm going to put an Arquitens in here, as well as a Gladiator, and we're going to also do a Gazanti for a little bit of support. We will have a little bit of Squadrons, but not much. But we're going to run 4 ships, and that's going to mean that Tarkin gets his money's worth. He's going to be handing out 4 tokens every single turn, and we're going to be able to do some cool things with these tokens, and that's one of the cool things I want to focus on in this particular build. So we're going to run the Sovereign command, and what that basically means is that I'll get 4. I can do 4 completely different commands on everybody each turn, because the Sovereign also says at the start of the ship phase, you may exhaust this card to discard up to 1 command token from up to 3 friendly ships at distance 1 to 5, and if you do, each of those ships gains a command token of any type. And since it happens the same time as Tarkin, I get to choose which order. So Tarkin can hand out, say, Nav to everybody. Then Sovereign can say, oh, okay, you other 3 ships, you guys can discard your Nav, and now you can have whatever you want. Or I think that basically gives me 4 of any type, because I choose the one that I want on the Simoon, and then I change the 3 on the other 3. And so everybody gets any token they want. Pretty cool. And this upgraded version of Tarkin is even cheaper than the old version of Tarkin used to be. So I like that, and I want to put some different things on these ships that can make them have different uses for tokens, and maybe different types of tokens. Right. So starting off with the Simoon, I have the fleet command here, so I'm going to run Intensify Firepower. That's going to help out the rest of my fleet. Especially very, very helpful for the Arquitens. I've usually have run Intensify Firepower with just lots of Arquitens before, and but this time I wanted to do some things a little different with the Arquitens, because I'm running the Command Cruiser, and I don't usually run the Command Cruiser. The Command Cruiser is really nice because usually you take engine techs or something like that on it, but I'm going to do something a little different today, so it's going to be fun. But let's finish building out the flagship first. We are going to put gunnery teams on this one, and Director Krennic. And of course, Krennic and Tarkin are going to be arguing. He's like, this is my achievement. It's like, you did not distribute the tokens, did you? Did you give them the tokens? No, you did not. Now I'll have you report to Lord Vader, or something like that. There's all kinds of little quippy remarks you can make during this battle. We're also going to put Spinal Armament on this one, and then we're going to put XI7s on here. So this is just a good all-around powerful, strong, hard-hitting Simoon, and of course my opponents are going to want to kill it, but I'm hoping that I can do kind of the slow approach here, so I shouldn't die too quickly, and then if they do try to open fire on this thing, well, I'll be reining in difficulty on my opponents from the sides with the Arquitens and the Gladiator. Reining in difficulty. It's not exactly that should be bringing down fire on them. No, we'll bring some difficulty to them. That sounds like something Tarkin would say. You shall find it a great deal more difficult than you had previously anticipated, Director Krennic. You know, anyway. So the Arquitens is going to be doing something a little different. So you choose the command cruiser because you want the support team. That's usually why. And usually you go with engine techs, but I don't think I'm going to go with engine techs. I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to try the auxiliary shields team, something I don't usually take on an Arquitens because they usually are doing a nav command. And I figure, hey, you know what? Now I'm free to do nav commands a lot more because I can get my tokens for free from Tarkin. Arquitens just usually don't run an engineering command to do this, but now all of a sudden I can get a free token on the first turn. You know what I can do with that token? I can cash it in to bump one of my sides up to 3. Next turn, I can get another token. I can make it an engineering token. I can pump the other side up to 3. You know, so like I'm like, all of a sudden, like the Arquitens, and he's got 2 redirects, right? The Arquitens' saving grace usually is their shields and their redirects. With 2 redirects and you know, with having now 3 shields on 2 different sides, that's pretty survivable. I mean, you're a 5-hull ship. Like, that's kind of cool. And I have never done this before, so I wanted to try it. You know, I suppose my dial will be free to be naving or even concentrate firing. You know, speaking of concentrate firing, we're going to go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and put the big old enhanced armament on this one. I almost said spinal. Not the best upgrade for an Arquitens. Enhanced armament. Look, we've got intensify firepower. Every round I'm gonna be able to turn a hit, a red die to a hit. So let's maximize my red dice here. You know, I might even have some concentrate fire tokens laying around from Tarkin that I can potentially do for extra rerolls. Once I get my shields up, and I'll be able to choose that every turn, right? So that's the cool thing. I'll really be able to react, and so this will make a very dynamic kind of play style, and so I like that. And I'm going to be running a Vader officer on the Gazanti, by the way, to choke out for extra rerolls. So we want an officer on every ship. So here I'm going to take, I'm going to put Admiral Titus. He's a cheap officer, and allow me to slow in case they do decide to kind of book it at speed 3 to my Simoon, or if they decide to run like a big ship and I have it at speed 1, I can slow it down to speed 0 or whatever. Titus can be fun, but he's really there just to feed rerolls for when I need them. And so that's a good thing. Now, Gladiator, you probably guessed it. It's going to be Demolisher. Yeah, you guessed it. We're going to run kind of a standard Demolisher here. We're going to run Assault Proton Torpedoes. We're going to run Engine Techs, and we're going to run Ordnance Experts. And I'm going to put Ozzel on here, too, to get us out kind of off to a good start. We're going to be a real fast Demolisher. Again, I'm going to try to pincer and flank and do all kinds of fun stuff like that. And here's another reason is I wanted engine techs here. You know, I wanted to be able to say, hey, concentrate fire for me. We'll do... we'll do engineering for the Arquitens. We'll do nav for the Gladiator, and maybe we'll do squadron for the Gazanti, right? Like you can do, like at this point you could change it out. It's 362. We've got some options, right? Or maybe we'll do engineering for the Gazanti because we're going to put slicer tools on the Gazanti, right? We have a lot of different options, and so I feel like this is going to be a really fun way to run Tarkin. We'll have different tokens going out to everybody, a lot of different things we can do, and we'll put some squadrons out here, not much. You could put a couple of TIE fighters out here. I'm going to run 2 lambdas. 2 lambdas is going to put me up to 399. It means that I can activate one of them with a squadron token if the Gazanti needs to do something else, like if the Gazanti needs to nav to get away from an obstacle or something like that. But ideally, the Gazanti is probably going to be doing squadron commands a lot. So I think, Tarkin can start off giving him an engineering, maybe give him another engineering in case he needs to use this, and he's got one ready to spend at the end of the round to get slicer tools back maybe a second time. Who knows? But yeah, so like this could be really, really fun. We're at 399 points, and we got to look at our objectives right now. So, I'm curious what you guys are thinking. Let me know if you've already guessed which objectives I'm going to go for this one, because I do sort of have a pattern. So considering I have a flotilla, a cheap Gazanti, for my red, I am going to go with Most Wanted. I love Most Wanted when I've got a cheap ship, because I put it on their most expensive ship, and then all my ships get an extra die, and I've got a lot of firepower here. I can probably bring down a flagship. I can put everything on the one ship and guarantee it to kill it and get an extra 100 points out of that. And my opponent is only going to get 23 points out of it if they happen to kill this Gazanti. And by all means, come after the Gazanti. He's got slicer tools. But then we've got the time for a yellow. I'm going to go with fire lanes on here because, hey, you know what? We've got lambdas. We've got strategic. We can move tokens around. Let's bring those fire lanes tokens down and let's score like, 500-600 points in this game. That's always a fun way to do things. And then for our blue, I'm going to go with Salvage Run. Salvage Run is one I don't take very often, so I'm curious. Let me know in the comment section if you guessed Salvage Run. But Salvage Run kind of puts all the tokens in the middle of the board, and all the obstacles kind of in the middle of the board, sort of. And I get to put some tokens out there, and I can just fly the Gazanti through there, kind of moving, having the lambdas kind of fly in, move the tokens back closer to me, and make them much more difficult for my opponents to get to. And I think that's really fun, because if my opponent wants to send a fleet or any ships into that, not only will I be able to slicer tool them, but I'll also be able to have the whole rest of my fleet, I'll be dividing and conquering, basically. I'm like, oh, did you send some of your fast ships into that wreckage? Well, now I'm going to just have my Simoon, my Arquitens, and my Gladiator focus on your flagship. All right, so yeah, I think that's the list. I think it's a cool way to potentially make all of this work. We're gonna call this Tarkin Sovereign. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna save that. That's a cool thing about Ryan Kingston's Fleet Builder. If you donated, it lets you save, so you should definitely all donate if you use it. It's a great option. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think. It's a short one, but I just thought it would be fun to do a Tarkin build. I haven't run Tarkin in a long time. All right, guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing and help make this all possible. I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much, and may the Force be with you.